So for me, it was a huge breakthrough when I was going knocking on doors and I was doing $10 or $20 jobs. I'm like, this is going to take me all day to make $200 or $300. Well, then I did one job that was $300. It took me about 3 hours. So I'm like, I just made $100 an hour cleaning high-end customers' windows. I should do more of that. Then I did 3 of those jobs in one day and I made $1,000 in one day. And I'm like, imagine if I had 3 crews all making $1,000 a day. Then I was like, I got to constantly go out and get new customers on the residential side. And it's a lot more cyclical, really busy in the spring and summer, drops off a little bit in the fall, and then goes dead in the winter. So how do I round all that out? We pivoted into commercial cleaning and I started landing commercial accounts. So that's kind of how I spread everything out.
Welcome to the Cooler Lifestyle Podcast. I'm your host, Matt Kuehlhorn, and I'm excited to have you join me as I interview community members and business leaders from the communities in which I live, work, and serve through my business Cooler Garage Doors. We're going to bring you highlights on characters in our communities. Why? Because community matters, and I want to know more about who is behind our business and leadership in order to understand and support the community fabric that our relationships make up. And collectively, we can build stronger communities that support our lifestyles, our youth, and our health.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Cooler Lifestyle Podcast. I'm your host, Matt Kuehlhorn. Today, I've got a new friend, Legacy Mike, joining me. He's an entrepreneur, coach, and business owner himself, and I'm really excited to get into your background, Mike, and potentially we're talking about mindset, marketing, all sorts of different stuff that we can dive into. So I appreciate your time. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, dude. Thanks for having me on here, and super cool setup, cool audience. I'm excited to chat it up.
Yeah, I love it, man. And tell me, where are you beaming in from? You said it was hot and humid.
Yeah, I'm in Charleston, South Carolina, so it's definitely warm.
Yeah, that's awesome. Mike, where did you end up growing up?
I grew up in Northeast Ohio, and then eventually went over to Pennsylvania. I went to Penn State, and then once I graduated, I lived in Pennsylvania for about 3 years after graduation, and then we moved to South Carolina after that.
Yeah, copy that. When I think of Northeast Ohio, I think is it Sandusky and the big amusement park there?
Yeah, Cedar Point.
Cedar Point.
Yeah, it's like an hour and a half from me growing up. We used to go there all the time, and it was awesome.
Man, that was a highlight. I grew up in Michigan, and we would drop down there once. I'll never forget it. Yeah, that was a highlight.
Oh, yeah. Place is sweet.
That's awesome. And so what'd you study in school?
I was business, supply chain management, and information systems. So my thought was to go work my way up the corporate ladder, just like everyone else. My dad was a corporate executive, and it's actually, a cool story of how I got into entrepreneurship was seeing my grandfather be an entrepreneur. And he built his business up and then kind of lost everything toward the end of his life due to not being able to finish the race, just jumping right in, right? Like turn into things like alcohol and things like that. Then my dad, he went the safe route and works with the corporate ladder. So I saw that as like the most viable option. Well, then I went that route and I went to college and I started working my way up the corporate ladder. I'm like, this is bullcrap, dude. I should be working for myself. So that's where the journey started.
No kidding. So what was that jump like? So you were in the corporate ladder.
Yep.
Did you do a quick jump off the cliff kind of thing?
Kind of. Yeah. I mean, it's like every entrepreneur, right? Like jump out of the plane, build a parachute on the way down.
Right.
So I went to Penn State, got my degree. I worked for Dick's Sporting Goods at their corporate office in Pittsburgh. I was doing all kinds of cool stuff. I was actually, Major League Baseball was paying my salary. I was doing all the inventory planning and buying for 700 Dick's Sporting Goods stores. And I'm like, this is such a cool job. I'm working for, Major League Baseball, and I've got all this cool apparel, and I'm working at Fortune 500 company, and I'm making decent money. And I'm like, I hate this. Every day I just show up, and I'm just part of the corporate wheel. It's like, I only had so much creativity. I only had so much room to do the things that I wanted to do. And I talked to a buddy who's an entrepreneur, and I asked him to mentor me. And he had a big business. I think he had about 30 employees at the time. Now he's got over 60. And he was like, Mike, the only way to take control of your life and to do the things that you want to do is to become an entrepreneur. And I saw he had the life that I wanted. And I was like, you tell me what I need to do to get to where you're at. And he's like, you need to quit your corporate job immediately and you need to start your own business. And I'm like, start my own business in what? I have no money. I have I have decent credit, but I mean, how much is that really going to get me? I have no business sense on how to be an entrepreneur. And he's like, it's not that hard. Start a business that doesn't require you to have money. And I'm like, what business doesn't require you to have money? And he's like, dude, start a cleaning company. Go to Costco, get some cleaning supplies and just start cleaning stuff. And eventually it'll grow from there. So I quit my job, dude, and I started a cleaning business.
No kidding.
Yeah.
How long do you run that cleaning business for?
I guess it's 5 years almost, 4.5, 5 years.
Yeah.
So I just got a bucket, a mop, and a squeegee. I started knocking on doors, doing commercial storefronts for $10, $20, whatever I could get. And then I was like, I had this breakthrough. Like, dude, imagine if I had like 5 guys going out doing this all the time, all day, every day. And I built the cleaning company up to, we're doing about 600,000 in sales at like 25, 30% net margin. And then I actually moved away from that business, and I was 12 hours away from the company, and it ran without me for 18 months. I visited it one time.
Dude.
Yeah.
Boom. That's stellar.
Sweet.
What do you think set you up for that? So I'm trying to imagine this, right? And I started my company without a dime, grinding it, took a deposit, formed whatever, started building out a crew. And there's certainly some tenacity that goes into that.
Yeah.
To do what you did, to build this thing up, I mean, cleaning is relatively small ticket stuff.
Yep.
So you just have a churn and a volume to it, and then you leave and the thing's still running without you. Like, for somebody listening, what are some of the practical pieces? Because there's a bit of mindset in there, there's tenacity, and there's just like this grind. But I can also imagine how many people get started with that and they fizzle out because dealing with people, it's hard to keep the systems in place. So you already had some of the systematic thinking from corporate days, or did you have to create that in the moment?
Yeah, I mean, I had the systematic thinking and approach, but it was from the corporate mindset where you just had, all these resources and all these employees and brand recognition and all this. I would say start with the end in mind. So for me, it was a huge breakthrough when I was going knocking on doors and I was doing $10 or $20 jobs. I'm like, this is going to take me all day to make $200 or $300. Well, then I did one job that was $300. It took me about 3 hours. So I'm like, I just made $100 an hour cleaning high-end customers' windows. I should do more of that. Then I did 3 of those jobs in one day, and I made $1,000 in one day. And I'm like, imagine if I had 3 crews all making $1,000 a day. Then I was like, I got to constantly go out and get new customers on the residential side. And it's a lot more cyclical, really busy in the spring and summer, drops off a little bit in the fall, and then goes dead in the winter. So how do I round all that out? We pivoted into commercial cleaning, and I started landing commercial accounts. So that's kind of how I spread everything out and how I built the machine, so to speak. So we had enough commercial accounts to cover us every month in overhead. And then our residential was our high profit jobs.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah.
I love it, man. So then what happened after that? Where'd you go after cleaning?
Yeah, so I moved away. It was actually during the pandemic, so everything was kind of shut down. That's when I started Legacy Entrepreneurs. I basically just started making some really encouraging content. People would reach out to me and say, hey, man, that video really spoke to me. Let's hop on a call. And then I started helping people out. We started a coaching platform. We started doing events for entrepreneurs. We have a movement called Legacy Entrepreneurs. You guys should check out. It's pretty cool. And then started doing partner deals with people. So I partnered up on a moving company, helped build one of the top moving companies in Bluffton, South Carolina. In a couple of years, I was a partner in that. Sold my shares back to the 2 owners, helped launch a landscape lighting company in Charleston, South Carolina, sold my shares back to the owner. And then now just purchased a roofing company that's been around for 30 years in Somerville, South Carolina with 2 other partners. So now my main thing is buying businesses and improving them. We also have the mastermind, and then I have a marketing company.
Hey everybody, this is Luke from Cooler Garage Doors. Just want to take a quick second to talk about our sponsor, Sommer Garage Door Openers. We believe Sommers are the best in the business when it comes to garage door openers. We always recommend them for residential installs because of the many features they have, such as Wi-Fi connectivity and safety features like a fixed chain that runs along a secure rail for a quiet and safe operation. Click the link to find out more about Sommer Garage Door Openers.
I love it. I love it. What would you say to entrepreneurs? And I guess, we could focus in the trades or we can go into other industries because I think it's somewhat similar. But, for somebody that's looking to scale, you're into partnerships. What are some of the pieces that you've learned in those engagements that might be good for somebody to know ahead of time?
Yeah, I would learn how to delegate and how to focus on what you're good at and what you enjoy doing as quickly as possible, because that's where you're going to be utilized in your true gifting. And then you're going to be able to find other people where they can use their gifting and what they enjoy doing in those slots. So I think that there was a conversation that you and I had on the phone a couple weeks ago. And that's been so true to me because I love marketing. I love promoting. I love leading a team, inspiring people, all those things. Whereas one of my other partners, he's more operational. He's like, hey, don't call me unless you need me. If you need me, I'll be there, but I want to work on the back end of the business. Then my other partner, he's really focused on the finances and the risk management, making sure that we're all covered. And I'm over here creating chaos, So it's like this perfect blend of us being able to do what we'd like to do and what we're really good at.
Yeah. Have all your partnerships been to 3?
Let's see.
The triad?
Nope, they haven't.
No.
And I think
right on.
I think this is what's going to really work. And yeah, I know it's already working, but even if you guys don't want to partner with somebody and give up equity, find ways to give perceived ownership of the business. So for example, if I wanted 100% of my company, I could still do the sales and the marketing, the vision, the leading the team, all those things, but then I could hire an operations manager, or I could hire an accountant or fractional CFO or bookkeeper to do my finances and handle that for me. Or if you don't like marketing, hire a marketing company to do those things so you could focus on the operations. I think people are I want to go off on a tangent here, but this is a really powerful lesson, is once you start making good money, you start realizing how little people will give up their time for not that much money. So I just used this example earlier. When you're first starting out, let's say your business makes $100,000 a year and you take home maybe $40K of that. Your hourly rate's about $20 an hour. If your business starts growing, you make $200,000 to $300,000, $400,000, you're taking home 6 figures. Now your hourly rate's $50 an hour. Then once you start making $300,000, $400,000, $500K take home, now your hourly rate's like $200, $300, $400 an hour. Your time is worth something. And you can hire a lot of $20 an hour workers for the $200 an hour that you should be taking home for yourself. You can hire 10 people to do what you're doing. The problem is that people stay in that $20 an hour mindset when they're making $200,000 to $300,000 a year, and they're still doing the same stupid things, and they load themselves up with tasks, and they can't break through to that next level. See what I'm saying?
This is good. I do.
Yeah.
So if we were to break down a little bit of the skill set to go into the next level, I'm hearing there's a component of mindset, there's a component of delegation. What are the other skills that it takes to ascend?
Yeah. I mean, just look at the average rates that people get paid. So in a cleaning, let me ask you this: what does a technician make in your company within a range?
$30 an hour.
Perfect.
Plus.
$60K a year, pretty much.
Yep.
60, 70K a year. So every hour that you are in doing the technical work of your business, that's what you're worth. Now, if you were to hire a digital marketing company, you would probably pay them $100 to $300, $400 an hour, depending on the services that they're providing to you. So that right there tells me that there's more value associated in a business with marketing than there is technician work. If you were to hire a fractional CFO or an accountant or something like that, they would charge you anywhere from $150 to $500 an hour. So that to me tells me that knowing the financial health of your business is more important. Same thing with leading a team, not just being a manager. A manager is like an $80,000, $100,000 a year job, so $40,000 to $50,000 a year. But somebody who can actually run multiple teams and lead a multi-million-dollar organization, okay, that's a $200,000 a year job. Now that's $100 an hour. So I'd be focused on leadership, marketing, finance, and high-level operations. That's it. Pick one or two of those things, go all into that, delegate everything else.
Yeah. Yeah. I dig it. Dude, you and I connected because of your social media presence. And I don't remember if I saw something or how that really connected. But as I've been following you, your shares are authentic. You even have some vulnerability out there. What's the mission you're on?
Yeah. It's really deep, man. And I talked about it in Moab. And I kind of talked about it at the beginning of this podcast where I had a grandfather who was into entrepreneurship and he was into marketing and all these things, but lost everything because of turning to things like alcohol and losing this direction in life and things like that. And then, like I said, my dad went the safe route. And I see so many people that want to be entrepreneurs, but they don't have the resources necessary, or they don't have the mentor or somebody that can guide them along the way. People can only do things that they've either physically seen with their own eyes or visualized in their mind. So by us as entrepreneurs going out there, paving the way, leading the example, it's our moral obligation to inspire the next generation of entrepreneurs by our actions, by helping other people. So with this movement with Legacy Entrepreneurs, not only do we have a coaching group that helps people and gives them the tools and resources and community and makes it fun and all those things, but we're trying to inspire those people so they can lead other people in their community as well. And if we all just help one person, imagine what the world would be. I know one entrepreneur helped change my life, and I'm on a mission to help change other people's lives in the process too.
Yeah, beautiful. What are we excited for? What's happening in the future?
We got some good stuff going on, man. We got some cool events coming up. One is actually here in about a month. We got Seattle, Washington, near Seattle. My business partner, Brian, runs a $5 million HVAC company. And he's going to have, I think, 12 people out touring his shop, working with his team one-on-one, sales processes, operations, all that stuff. We got our Hilton Head event coming up in September, and then we've got another event in November that is not released yet, but will be released very, very soon.
Yeah. Love it.
Yeah.
I love it, man. This is all really, really good stuff. I love the energy. I love the way you show up. I want to revert a little bit, get back into really giving that a hand to an entrepreneur. And potentially there's an individual that's listening now. He or she is thinking about starting, or maybe somebody is in a corporate setting and not psyched with it.
Yeah.
And this is all important. So there's a question that underlies this really, because some of this is hitting my heart. And I think that's a component. Like, we need to be all in. We need to have our hearts engaged if we're in a corporate setting and it's just like, meh. It's not really doing anything for the world, certainly that individual. So what would be the words that you would tell somebody that's like on the edge of that cliff?
Yeah.
Thinking about making that jump. And, I was there at one point, but I didn't have anything below me. And it is the figuring things out. And maybe somebody does it a little smarter than I did it. I don't know.
Yeah.
But, you're on a mission. You got your heart engaged. You want to engage other people's hearts, really make a dent in the world.
Yeah.
What do you tell those folks that are listening right now?
Yeah. Well, let me follow up your question by asking you a couple questions, Matt. I think this will help kind of prove the point is, why did you want to become an entrepreneur in the first place?
Yeah. When my first child was born, this fire within me was ignited, and it was something I had to do. Like, it wasn't because it was cool or because I thought there'd be a lot of money in it. It just was something that I had to do. It was part of me, and it wasn't coming out at the moment, and it just had to come out. So there's a lot of trial and error in that journey.
Yep. Same thing, man. I started my business right when my firstborn arrived, and same thing, just had to do it. And I hear a lot of people say, I became an entrepreneur, or wanted to become an entrepreneur so I could have time freedom and money freedom and these buzzwords, right? And I think that's That's totally cool. And that's what we're all going for. And I would say now I have way more money. I mean, I make at least triple, quadruple what I made in the corporate world. And then I also have a lot more time on my side. But I will tell you this, the first 5 years of my entrepreneurial journey, I made, probably the first 3 years, let's say, I made less money and I worked 3 times as hard. So for you sitting there, if you're saying, I want to have time freedom and I want to make a lot of money, you have to understand that as an entrepreneur, this stuff is not easy. It's not for everyone. So you really got to be real with yourself and say, am I going to do this? Am I going to stick with this through the thick and thin? Because I've had so many things happen. I'm sure you have, Matt, as well. And I would say that you have to have that burning desire that you had, just like the book Think and Grow Rich says, where you're going to bed like, I cannot go another moment without doing this. And actually, the day that I've fully committed to my business was when I was the most frustrated, and that desire was so strong in my heart. I woke up on a Saturday morning in the freezing cold in February, and I knocked on doors all day. And I told my wife, I'm not coming home until somebody says yes to my cleaning service. So, dude, we all have that.
Burning
we all
desire.
have those stories. Yeah. You have to have it. Some people just don't.
Yeah. I was just talking to a mentor of mine, and we did a recording earlier today, and it had been a while since I've connected with him. He's older gentleman. He's down the road of his journey, but he was talking about clarifying an individual's why. And just like you said, there's a component in here that I want to uncover, a myth to demystify, because you're talking about the realness to entrepreneurship. It ain't easy. And there's almost this hero's journey that goes through. And a lot of times I feel like I'm still in it, to where I'm going through the grind in order to really uncover what you first started talking about, those real gifts, the real whys. Yeah. And once we tap into that ignites our mind, body in this alignment with our heart, then we can start making some real moves, and we get into the realm of partnerships and bigger incomes and plays. Yeah. So you kind of agree with that. And I guess, that night of knocking on the doors, was that part of this hero's journey to uncover this why and what you were really good at and tap into that?
Yeah. I wanted to see if I was actually worth a darn. Hey. Like I'd seen other people run businesses and say, oh, I could do it better than them. Or, man, if I just had the opportunity to do that thing, I could go out and do that. And I listened to podcasts and I'd be like, this guy's not any smarter than me. He's making like $500,000 a year. Like, that could be me. But I had to prove it to myself that I could. And that's the thing about the entrepreneurial journey is it's very lonely. And it's the greatest self-discovery tool you will ever experience in your life. And that's what I would encourage you guys to go do, is to go out and just make stuff happen. Create chaos, make mistakes, play in the sandbox. You're going to build this sandcastle, and then it's just a rainstorm's going to come through, or somebody's going to come by and kick it over. And you're going to be like, dude, what the heck? I just worked so hard for that. But you pick yourself up and you're stronger every time. And then you start figuring out where you belong in the marketplace. And I'll tell you this, up until recently, I never saw myself as the marketing guy. And I talked to my coach recently. I signed up with her at the beginning of the year. And she's like, Mike, you are the marketing guy. I'm telling you, that's what everyone sees you as. And so it took me almost 6 years as an entrepreneur to figure out, I guess I am the marketing guy. So, dude, it's a great self-discovery tool. You're not just going to become an entrepreneur that, oh man, this is what I'm good at. And I know I'm talking a lot, but I want to make this last point so I don't forget, is we all want to be authoritative, and we want people to see our worth in the marketplace. But unfortunately, you have to prove it so many times over and over and over again for people to be like, wow, this guy's actually doing something worthwhile. It took me 3 companies to build, 4 companies, before I partnered up with these legit operators, because I had proven results that I could do this over and over again.
Yeah. Good stuff, man. Stepping into the arena fully.
That's right. I like it, man. You're just so calm and just soaking it all in. It's fun.
I love it, man. I mean, this whole conversation, is dancing around transformation. And as I do more and more of these conversations, it's really what this lifestyle podcast is about. Like, how do we transform ourselves to go to the next iteration of who we are, right? Because it's about the being in order to attain what we want. And, you know, you've done it and you're continuing to do it. What do you think Legacy Mike looks like 10 years from now?
So, I mean, where I see myself 10 years from now, I don't really know exactly, but some of the actions and things that I'm taking are I want to buy businesses and stabilize them and create assets that cash flow and pay me every month, and then take that money and then invest it into more secure wealth preservation, which would be real estate and things like that. I don't necessarily want to operate real estate. I would rather be the money guy. And then I really want to build out our movement with legacy entrepreneurs and make that community just more robust. So we have a couple different programs with that. We've got the inner circle, people that are really tight, helping each other grow. And then we've got a broader net of people that are just getting their business off the ground. They want to learn the blocking and tackling of entrepreneurship. So I'd really like to grow that. And then just establish my presence in the marketplace from a marketing perspective. You know, I want to be that person that's like a Grant Cardone, where people look at him and they're like, dude, that guy can market. He can sell anything. So that's what I'm working on right now.
Beautiful, man. How do listeners get a hold of you? Where do we get to find you?
Yeah, check me out on social media, Legacy Mike, on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. You could also email me if you want. My email is mike@legacymike.fun. I have a cool little marketing play there.
Fun.
Yeah. And then, just send me a DM. Happy to help you guys any way I can. Check out some of our content on social media with Legacy Entrepreneurs. And I can promise you this, if I don't know the answer to something, or I know someone that's in our community that's a little better, I can just push them over to you. I can send them over to you, and you can connect with them as well.
I love it, man. If you have another minute, one more question just bubbled up in my mind.
Yeah, let's hear it.
And usually we'll end the conversation there, but actually there's some richness here. And, you know, I've got marketing now rattling in my head. The way you and I met it was through social. How critical is building a brand in social these days?
So critical. Like, I think it's one of the most important things of any business. So let me follow up, answer the question by asking you another question. If someone was to buy your business right now, what is the most important asset of your business?
I mean, I think it's the brand awareness.
It's the brand and it's the customers. People are like, they focus so much on the equipment and, you know, the nuts and bolts of the business. Dude, if you have a raving audience that keeps coming back over and over again and a dedicated client base, I can buy 100 trucks to meet with the demand. So I'm always focusing on the brand, customer retention, you know, just making sure our clients are taken care of, those types of things. And dude, the systems and the operations and all of that stuff, I feel like, you know, that's secondary to building the brand.
Yeah, I love it. I just wanted to put that in there because I think for some of the listeners, like, there's still a lagging, especially in the trades, knowing about how to build a brand in social, and the fact that that is where brands get built.
Yeah, no, totally. I mean, I have a roofing company. Like, there's only so many ways we could separate ourselves by actually hammering shingles onto, or nailing shingles onto a roof. I mean, there's only so many ways I could separate myself. But if someone sees that we have a cool, fun brand, we're a family company, we're really positive in the community, all those types of things, they're going to go with us way more than they care about the shingles, the trucks, the color shirts that we have when we show up, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So it's very important.
Great points, man. Great points. I know we could chat for forever, dude, but I'm gonna wrap it here because listeners have to move on with their day. But we'll include show links. We'll include your social links. I encourage you guys as a listener to get a hold of Mike. Check out Legacy Entrepreneurs. Mike, I think you've got a great thing going on. I love the fact that you show up fully and play in the arena. So I acknowledge you there, and I just really appreciate your time.
You too, man. Anything I can do to help you or people listening, reach out. Happy to help any way I can.
Awesome, man. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Matt.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening to the Cooler Lifestyle Podcast. We count on your subscriptions, your likes, your shares, and I encourage you to do that now. If you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe, lower right-hand button. If you're on audio, download this, share it, and we look forward to having you on the next one.